Hi everyone, it's Mother Mayhem. This is emergency broadcast, a message for the CDC. Okay, I am the Oracle of the World. So I'm gonna do a recap of everything I already disclosed to you guys and then give you a new update. So I mentioned that there is a contagion that has been spreading for a while. You have to determine for how long, for one, and what is the contagion. I did like a whole deep dive on Ozempic. It's connected to that drug, but anyway, the contagion is some type of viral disease that formed into something else. Okay, because it grew. So the contagion is very viral. Okay, it's carry um, a bacteria that causes a viral disease. Okay, this viral disease, it has something to do with the mucus, okay, in the saliva, and that is found in the mucous membrane. But you have to focus in the lymphatic system. I mentioned that. Focus on the lymphatic system, especially the lymph nodes, because that's where all the bacteria, virus, and all that is supposed to be filtered and cleaned, right, within our lymphatic system. But it hasn't been doing that. So the contagion has been hiding in our lymph nodes, and no one knew about that. So I kind of wanted to recap you on that. But how did it affected us? Affected us? How did it spread? Apparently, it was our food supply has been contaminated for a very long time. There's other things in factor. I'm getting the certain synthetic medication, whatever it's made with the synthetic medication, has been causing bacteria that it was hard for our body to fight off. That is what I see with my vision. I also saw something about chemtrails. That's something that is real. I actually saw that in my vision of chemtrails being sprayed. That was a factor as well. There's many different factors, like such as insects that have carry that was affected by this, that's contaminated, roaches, rats, mice. Um, I wrote down to make sure. Hold on, wait a minute. Dirt. So about the dirt, the soil basically has been affected. Okay, so the food supply, mainly such as meat and poultry food, um, processed food, okay, has been contaminated with this contagion. Okay, but where did it begin? Where did it start? How did it really affect? Like, I know it affected the food supply. The food supply is contaminated. Um, Certain insects and mice and rats is contaminated. The soil as well, but how? So you got to figure out the how and when. Okay, so that's the contagion. It's a bacterial viral disease that has formed into something else that is causing a deadly sickness, a silent one as well. But it's not just deadly; it's something else with it. So you have to look into that. I also found out as well. There's something about the respiratory area, especially the upper respiratory area, the nasal um, the nasal part, and also the lower respiratory area, the thymus gland and the tonsil. Okay, look around that area as well, and also mainly look at the navel. No, right there in the small intestines, below the small intestine, or within the small intestines. Okay, there's something about that. I believe that's where the contagion may be, not just in our lymph nodes, but there's something there in our navel. So look into our navel area, okay, or the small intestines. Okay, something about the gut area is very significant. So look into that. And when I said look into that, I'm talking to the CDC that hasn't been taken over by the contagion. And you will know what that means once you realize something. Okay, so with that being said, you need medical professionals, scientists that studies the skin, that studies the blood, that studies genetics, that study even when I mentioned the carriers like rats and insects and all that, they need get those type of scientists as well, because they will be a huge help. Okay, but you need to get ahead of this contagion before it takes fully over the population. It has contaminated the population and affected people's lymph nodes, okay, in the respiratory area as well, somewhere in the navel. However, it hasn't fully taken over the whole entire population, and it hasn't affected them to the point where it's going to cause something severely wrong with their own body, okay, and you will know what that means as time goes on. Okay, so that's just an update on that. I believe the contagion is hidden in the lymph nodes, so let's focus on there, as well as the respiratory area. You may find something the upper and the lower respiratory area, as well as the navel. Okay, you just need to figure out how long this contagion's been affecting us, and how did it get to us? How did it affect us? How did we get targeted? Okay, how? You got to figure all that out. Okay, so I just wanted to state that. But so about the mucus, so focus on the mucous membrane, because with my visions about all this and how I was able to see this, is people was getting sick through like mucus, and saliva. They were salivating out the mouth, which it reminded me of like rabies for some reason. That's what I got, something about rabies. Okay, so it could have been from something that was a carrier, like a carrier animal or an insect or something really spread it even more. So you gotta figure out what that carrier was. Okay, I believe it was some type of insect. Could have been mosquitoes. It could be anything. So you gotta look into it. But it's a lot of factors on how it kept spreading. Okay, how it kept contaminating us and affecting us. But it's silent. Okay, you have to figure out, yeah, why. I don't believe this contagion is man. I don't believe it's natural. Okay, I feel like it's man-made. Okay, I don't. That's why I feel like, because our body is natural organic beings. Okay, this is something our body would have rejected immediately once it know what it was. So it tells me if it didn't reject it, that means it's foreign to the body. Okay, it was never meant to be inside the body. Okay, so there's something outside that was occurring, and that was either injected, or that was, we were contaminated somehow. Okay, so I believe it's not natural. Okay, it's made. Okay, I will leave it there. So those are my updates. So that was a new one, talking about the navel area, which is the gut area, small intestines. Focus on the gut area. I believe there's something there. So I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you. I am the Oracle of the World. This is a message for the CDC. And please, you guys, make sure you share my videos everywhere, so that people can be aware, the right people who could get ahead of this before it takes over the population. I will leave it there. Thank you.